Here I am again. This is the prologue. First of all, it was October, a rare month for boys. That is a fabulous first line. You only have one first line in a book. And Ray Bradbury nailed it with that first line. He tells us volumes about what this book's going to be about. And it's also, I think it goes into the Hall of Fame of first lines. I'll write a post about great first lines. They're an essential component of a good book or a good story or whatever. But he mentions a couple of things here. He mentions October. Ray Bradbury is the October king. He wrote at least 2 books that he focused on, in which he focused on October, and he wrote several stories about October. He loved October. In fact, in his autobiography, he claims it. He names it. October is very important to him. And I have to say, it reminds me of the song, Van Morrison's song, Into the Mystic. In my opinion, October is into the mystic of life. And it's the whole Halloween thing, but there are different reasons. And maybe it's all laced in the fact that it is about Halloween, but the weather gets cooler. The leaves turn different colors. It's a more magical time of year. It's also right before winter, and it sets the world for a whole different stage. Also, so anyway, October it's a season. It's important to Ray Bradbury. It was before he became an old man, and I think that's important too. But it's in this book, October is a theme. October, autumn. It's the theme of the seasons of life. Now I'm going to mark this passage twice because we're not only talking about October, we're also talking about the main theme. All right, let's see. All right, he goes on to say that June. Okay, he tells in the paragraph. He tells us the whole deal. He's talking about October when people are old, and he's talking about June when people are young. It's the time when, yes, school lets out and kids are excited to be away from the structure of school, but it's also the time in a person's life when they don't even realize that they're going to get old. He says it here. June, no doubting it, June's best of all, for the school doors spring wide and September's a billion years away. What an incredible bunch of words that is. Tells us a whole book in just one paragraph. But there, I've actually bracketed that entire paragraph. So let me see what else I think is important. Okay, I'm going to go on. It introduces Will Halloway and Jim Nightshade This is the prologue, and it barely mentions them, and I almost don't want to. I actually going to give this another star. This is also a quote that I think is a memorable quote. Quotes are the wheels on the bus of literature. They are really what spark the engine of the story, make the story more memorable, more alive for the readers. And this particular, so that's a quote. A theme is introduced. Actually, that theme color looks a little bit too much like yellow. I don't want to be confused. So I want to change the theme color to pink because I think that will be definitely distinguishable. So theme, I've mentioned the theme, I've mentioned a quote, it's purple, and I mentioned the month of October. So 3 things right there in that first paragraph, and I've marked them all. Okay, he comes on down here and he talks about October again. But he also, in that phrase, introduces two characters, Will Halloway and Jim Nightshade. And they are the primary James Nightshade, that he calls him. They're both 13 years old, and they're almost 14. They're going to be 14 just almost right before Halloween. Which, guess what? Halloween is not only a holiday, but it's also the end of fall. In fall, autumn is a season in the wheel of life. This is also a coming-of-age novel. These two young boys are about to become young men, and to mark the turning of their lives, they're going to experience something that they'll never forget and probably never get over. And that's that's how a lot of us mark the turning of life. So here we have it tells us, he begins to distinguish. Let me tell you something about that. Ray Bradbury uses names and titles to mean something. Nightshade. Well, what does that tell us? Well, there's deadly nightshade, but night. He is introducing the theme of dark and light. So we have another theme being introduced. And Will Halloway, you need to remember that Halloween is really a contraction for Hallows Eve, the evening before Halloween. Before Hallows Eve, Hallow means saints. It's the evening or the eve before All Saints Day. So Will Halloway he has the chore to carry the lantern of light through this book. James Nightshade, well, he's dark. That's nighttime. But we're going to learn something here. Ray Bradbury is like the ancient Greeks. In fact, I'm quite sure that Ray Bradbury was an ancient Greek mythology scholar. The ancient Greeks, in their mythology, distinguished chaos, or the time that was dark before the beginning of the world. It also mentions the same kind of darkness in the Bible. But there's the ancient Greeks were also able to see that there was an ultimate darkness, an evil, a presence, and that was Hades, the god of Hades. There are other gods and goddesses that represented night too. Nyx was the goddess of night. All right, James Nightshade, although at first we're going to think Ray Bradbury saying he's just ultra dark, he's evil. And he's really not going to be saying that. He's saying that he's darker than Will Halloway, different, they contrasted, but the darkest of all is yet to come. And that's going to be Mr. Dark, who his name also suggests who he is. So right here, all right, in my annotations, I'm going to, because he's not ultra dark, I'm going to make Jim Nightshade light blue, and I'm going to make Mr. Dark, when he enters the picture, dark blue, because he is definitely much darker. And Will Halloway is light. And we've introduced the theme of darkness and light. So now, if I can just remember what my color tabs mean. In fact, it would be very good over here to put the tabs and what they all mean, just in case you need a map to get through your own tabbing. Your own, what was it called? Tabination? I don't know what they actually call that. But here we go. Let's keep going. All right, into chapter 1. All right, we're going to begin digging deeper. We talk about the seller of lightning rods. And I'm not really quite sure that we know that he's an old person in this book, But in the movie, which Ray Bradbury also wrote the script for the movie, Something Wicked, he is an older person. So I'm going to say that the seller of lightning rods is also represents autumn. But he represents more than that. Let's see. Let's see if we can find a color for him. He is going to be, well, I don't know. I'm not going to give him a color. He's not in the book very often. But actually, Tom Fury, we'll learn later, his name is Tom Fury, is like the Archangel Gabriel. He comes to tell the world that there's about to be a huge storm. A change is going to come. And he is a messenger, and he comes to tell them. He's ostensibly selling lightning rods to protect people's homes from the storms of life, but he's really just a messenger coming to tell everybody to get ready. So there he is. So there we have Tom Fury there. Let's see if we can cut down here. Let me get over here. I've got the other book already marked, son. Let's see. All right, let's get down here. Oh, there is a good quote there. Somewhere a storm like a great beast with terrible teeth could not be denied. So we're going to give that dude a purple because he, with very good language, Ray Bradbury's telling us something about this storm. It's a beast. It's not just a rainstorm. Actually, I like rain. It's not just a rainstorm. It's a beast coming. Okay, so let me get over here and see if I can find something else. Okay, and then he meets the boys, and he asks them if he will have any money. He is a peddler, and he's out a traveling salesman trying to sell his lightning rods, kind of like writers trying to sell their books. And I understand that. I understand that also. Okay, he sniffs the air. The wind rattled the empty trees. Sunlight breaking through a small rift in the clouds minted a last few oak leaves. That is a very important quote. He sniffed the air. Written beautifully, I might say. Let's see if I can get this down where you can see. Wind rattled. If I can do it. Wind rattled the empty trees. Rattled. Sounds like skeletons. I think it's intentional. Sunlight, light, breaks through a rift in the clouds. Clouds are shadows, they're darkness trying to hang above the earth. But the sunlight beneath the cloudy sky minted the last few oak leaves all gold. So again, he's talking about last autumn and gold light. But the sun vanished. The coins were spent. The air blew gray. And the salesman shook himself from the spell. So what we're having light and dark already in a battle here. Light and dark are already beginning to battle. So I'm going to tab these with the theme of dark and light, because clouds and light and the sun are playing with each other. They're combating each other in this. And let's see, I'm also going to mark that as a good quote. All right, let me see if I'm going to go on down here. So he turns to the boy, and the first boy has hair as blonde white. The first boy has hair as blonde white as milk thistle. Well, he has blonde hair. He is the cowboy wearing the white hat. And the other guy, we're going to find out here, his hair was wild, thick, and the glossy color of waxed chestnuts. His eyes fixed to some distant point within himself. They were mint rock crystal green, kind of like a snake's eyes. "Jim Nightshade," he said.